Like everybody else is fucking.
There's one at the back.
So which side do we hang it now?
Yeah,
Left or right?
that's okay.
Do you want me to just do
Okay.
that?
In the back.
Thank you, Paula. Sorry.
We all go
Sit
left,
left,
right?
yeah.
Is
Left.
in line with your left eye.
Yeah, and then the wind blows.
Yeah, in my eye.
Don't give a jalapeno.
I'm trying to avoid the double
Okay,
chin.
you tell us. Do your best there.
I'm sort of chewing on it.
Can you eat a little bit? Yes, okay.
I have hair in my mouth. Me too.
This.
No.
Yay, we did it. We got it.
We did it!
It's an STI.
You know, thank God it's a
It was
nice
a lie.
day.
It's an STI.
Okay, that's fine. Now we're going to throw the hand.
Oh yeah. That's gonna go so well.
You're gonna be thrown in
But then we will have to get it back, right? Just up.
Okay, now count until 3 and then you...
on the 4 or on the 3? On the 3.
On the three.
Throw on the 3.
On the 3.
Which tree?
Where is it?
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
My glasses!
Okay, we go.
Once again?
That's what sounds.
Ik wil niet oefenen.
Oh, there.
So many losers.
There's one. Hey, I caught one. We are graduated. Come on, let's get drinks.
Come back to McDonald's.
I had the most fun night ever at McDonald's.
Today, 12 students will
graduate from the Master Governance and Leadership in European Public Health. And let's open this session officially. Okay, now I want to introduce you to Professor Brandt, and he's the head of the Department International Health.
Dear sponsors of our students, I think the last check has been written. Yeah. Dear family members and friends of our graduates, dear colleagues of Maastricht University, dear representatives of the press and the electronic media, dear masters deemed to be. We are here to celebrate the graduation of this year's batch of master students in governance and leadership in European public health. This is my last chance to influence you with ideas, and you have to listen as you want to have your certificates. But to get you into the right mood, let me start with sharing 3 short stories with you. You know, in my lectures we always have storytelling. The first story our students know already, and they know it from my colleague Rock, I guess, and so it's more for our guests from today. 30 years ago, in August 1989, the Iron Curtain began to crack. Thousands of East Germans were overstaying their summer vacations near Lake Balaton in Hungary, resolved not to return to East Germany. Fearing the coming winter and their resources already stretched thin by Romanian refugees, the Hungarian government had to act. The solution took the form of a pan-European picnic near the Austrian-Hungarian border town of Sopron, which would temporarily suspend border controls between the 2 countries and give the East Germans a chance to flee to the West. The second story goes like this. In 2049, so in 30 years from now, as in every year, a delegation from England is visiting the Prime Minister of the USE, not the USA. USE means the United States of Europe, to ask for the annual prolongation of Brexit. No one really remembers anymore why this is done or has to be done, and no one even remembered what Brexit stands for. But it is a big party event, and thousands of people celebrate with English food and beer in the streets of Brussels. I personally think it must have something to do with the fact that in late 2019, the Queen of England fired the Prime Minister, backed by a regulation of 1749 found by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Bercow. You remember his shouting "order"? Yeah, from the last UK parliamentary sessions. And that Scotland and Wales left the United Kingdom in 2020, and Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland reunified in 2021. Our third story happens in the same year. In 2049, 2 alumni of this master, so someone from you, got the Nobel Prize for the discovery of the main risk factor of the so-called mad politician disease in 2022. There's always a time lag of decades between discovery in 2022 and getting the prize in 2049. The mad politician disease is caused, as you found out, by being exposed to too much unfiltered social media content and leads to unhealthy populist behavior of infected politicians. What does these 3 stories want to tell us? First, you do not exactly know when important event starts. We are all now busy for the last 30 years to close the health gap between East and Western European countries, and even you will still be busy with it. What we did not realize when the beginning of the end of the Iron Curtain really started. We all watched the news, but did we really understand that time what happened? And it does not matter on which level you are working. The local level is as important as a national or international one. It is often even more important because if no one realizes the ideas we have in academia or international organizations, nothing would change. And it does not matter in which kind of organization you work. Academia and administration, industry and NGOs, all they contribute to solve our problems. Second, nothing is impossible. Change comes unexpected, so be prepared. And I personally hope we prepared you well with the necessary toolboxes to deal with unexpected cases. You will see impossible and unexpected things happening every 10 years in your life. So you will have around 3 to 4 of those events happening alone in your working life. And think twice before you decide. Unintentional side effects are hard to predict. 2 examples. In the last year, the European Union research money helped UK researchers in their groups to focus on neurological diseases. Other EU research groups contributed. Even if the EU research money is only 10% of all research money available in Europe, it makes an important contribution to the networking of researchers. And you know how important networking is. Now, with the Brexit, the UK groups will not anymore be part of the game, and the other EU countries lost the research coordinator in this special field. Will we be able to catch up again to find a cure for Alzheimer in due time? Or if the UK will make a trade agreement with the US, what they can and will do when they left the European Union, then it has to open up for US for-profit hospital chains to be active in the UK. Does the British soul really want this? Third, there are challenges in new areas ahead. Please keep the concept of health in all policies in mind. We can build the best healthcare system in the world for our countries, but if other policy areas mess up, they will produce more ill health than we can cure. Policies and politics matter. Please remind this. Now, I don't want to stand anymore between you and your certificates, and thank you for listening.
Okay, thank you, Professor Brandt, for the introduction. Now I want to introduce you to Dr. Chabanovska, the Program Director of the Master Program Governance and Leadership in European Public Health.
Thank you, Monica. So, dear former students, graduates, I think you will be colleagues now, and ladies and gentlemen, parents and family of our precious graduates today. So it is my great pleasure to welcome you at the graduation ceremony. And in fact, I think of no better place to hold this ceremony than this beautiful St. John's Church. I would like to say a heartfelt thank you for making this master program a great success. With your participation, with your motivation, with your creativity and drive, you made it happen that this year we have 55 students. I would like to say that being here together with you who belong to public health community gives us the space and opportunity to be proud. Yes, to be proud of the tremendous gains in our overall health, duration of life, the achievements which were made possible by public health champions who have insights and perform science and who build public health field with courage, and you join this community. At the same time, we are all aware of a big cloud of skepticism which overshadows or challenges public health wins. And these are, among others, anti-vaccine movements, populist or discriminatory political choices, or harmful environmental solutions. As the graduates of the Governance and Leadership Program, you also know that there is a growing knowing-do gap, a disconnect between our collective consciousness and our collective action. This gap leads to collecting results that nobody wants, such as massive environmental destruction, societies breaking apart, social media-induced mass separation from our deeper sources of self. But you are prepared to respond to these challenges because as public health professionals, you know how to do and you will do, because you will build and strategize the knowledge base and infrastructure for public health interventions. You will activate system-wide and cross-sectoral networks of relations and interactions that allow for implementation of comprehensive responses. And you will deliver high-quality public health achievements with open mind, open heart, and open will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Czabanowska. Now I will give the floor to former students. And you're sitting in front of me, and I will ask Danielle Bund, Kimberly Angela, and Anne van Dun to come forward, please, because you have prepared something, a speech or something.
Dear parents, family, teachers, and GLEF students, today, the 25th of October 2019, we receive our diploma. We are incredibly proud and happy that we are standing here today in front of our family and friends receiving our master's degree. Although we are here with the 12 of us today, that was of course not our whole program. We started the year with around 25 students, and most of us have graduated. However, not everyone could be here today. Some are already working, others are traveling or simply back in their home country. This speech that the three of us give to you today is for every GLEF student, whether they are here or not, and whether they are already graduated or not. Although each and every one of us worked very hard individually, we also did as a group, and that is something to be proud of. During the next 10 minutes, the three of us would like to tell you a little bit of our journey that started last year. We hope it will give you an idea of what we did in the past year and why you think this master program is so special. The master program, Governance and Leadership in European Public Health, or GLEF for short, started in September 2018. In the first week we met each other, at least the ones who already got their visa. Everyone thought the same. We are such a weird group. On day one, a slogan already emerged. GLEF is not an STD. Because let's be real, GLEF sounds like a disease. This disease-related theme carried on through the year, and we were public health students after all. And during the first month, another phrase was introduced. I caught a serious case of GLEF. This saying stood for the wonderful dynamics in the program, led by Kasia, and it is hard to explain what it exactly entails, but I hope that it will become somewhat clear during the rest of this talk. As I said, the group was weird, but in a good way. We were diverse. It turned out we were a group of 25 people from over 16 different countries, from Aruba to Peru, and from Australia to Italy, the Netherlands, Bolivia, Germany, Moldova, Egypt, and so on. This diversity meant that we had a lot of different cultures in the group. This had not only implications for the way we thought about governance and public health, but also resulted in some practical difficulties. Eating together was a real challenge, for example. Where the Italians would like to meet up for dinner around 10, the Dutch would like to eat at exactly 6 in the evening. And also, our age was very diverse, ranging from 20 to 59. On top of this, we were all coming from different backgrounds, and so during the first weeks, we learned 2 crucial things. Number 1, we are the future leaders in public health. Number 2, Colombia is the greatest country in the world. We had studied such diverse bachelors before, which meant that in the beginning, half of us had no clue about Europe and politics, while the other half had absolutely no idea about public health, for that matter. This resulted in chaos in the first few months, and everyone was insecure about what to do and especially what to expect for the first exams. This is where the first serious case of clef would come in. Study groups were formed, led by Pete and his extra sessions team, and we were helping each other, reaching higher standards. As Kasia would say, true leaders don't keep their knowledge to themselves, but share their knowledge to lift other people's up. That is exactly what we did during the whole year. When I look back, it makes me proud that we could do this as a group, and for this all the credits go to the extra sessions team, Pete, Kimberly, Dan, Simone, and Carlotta. Thank you for making this happen. Thank you for making us catch some serious clef. Of course, it was not only us who taught each other. The program was taught by wonderful and foremost knowledgeable teachers, from whom we really got the feeling that they wanted us to succeed. Kimberly will tell you all about it. Thank you.
Ahoy! I wanted to also thank the program for all the opportunities we got offered. One of the main ones, for example, was Salzburg. So we got the opportunity to go to Salzburg for a course on public health law and for human rights and public health. And this is also where a serious case of GLEF was caught. The first group, for example, went by renting a van, and the driver was Wiki. That's currently not present, but Wiki drove like a madman, and I think she thought she was Vin Diesel, because it was all fast and furious. And of course, with Rock enjoying some locally brewed beers, with the rest of us, of course, it was all nice and peachy. And of course, we got the opportunity to interact with different people from way more different backgrounds than us and different experience than us, of course. So that's something also to be appreciated from. There was a lot of laughing and crying, especially for the chamber music concerts. And they all got incredibly fat because damn, those Austrians can cook. But even though they were far away from us, we still did the lectures together. For example, for leadership, we all followed the lectures and sent each other pictures, so we're all still one big happy group. For the other group, some went by plane, some went by train, but all I can say is when they came back from Salzburg, they weren't the same people. And of course, next to Salzburg, we also have the other things offered to us. For example, media training from the Science Vision Department. Thank you. And this all helped us to really develop our presentation skills. That's why we're so great now. And we also got a lot of opportunities for the placements. So some also got opportunities with the WHO, with the European Commission, so we can go places. And we would like to give a great thanks to the professors that really contributed to making GLEF what it is as well. One of them, I don't see him here, Peter Schroeder-Bach. We would like to thank him for showing us to be on time, never miss a deadline, and how to study on a damn bus. And also for teaching us that we should always check for brown M&Ms. And of course, we would like to thank Helmut Brandt for giving us incredible knowledge and sharing his passion for public health with us. And that led to a lot of times, 2.5-hour lectures without breaks. Because we always end up trailing off. And of course, David for all his law and Brexit jokes. Sadly, Brexit is still something happening, but we know how to make a good laugh about that as well. and for that, helping us develop our critical thinking and different positions on different topics. And of course, now we know how to purchase a washing machine. And of course, we would like to thank Timo for organizing all the placements and being there for us when we needed to spam him for a thesis crisis. Rock and Henk were there for us in one of the worst of times, statistics. Statistics did bring a lot of us to tears. Me, for example, yelling at the computer late at night, but we did see the light at the end of the tunnel because of a nicely organized course that was presented for us. And of course, last but not least, we would like to thank Cassia and thank her for being such a massive inspiration to us all and showing us, that caring for others is not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength. And working hard and not giving up gets you anywhere if we really believe in that for us. So, thank you, Cassia.
So lastly, I want to say thanks to all parents, family, and friends. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to do the study actually, and also to support us during hard times, thesis cries, exam cries, everything. We will carry your examples with us as part of our own identity, so thank you. Then from all GLEF students, at first I want to thank our lost soldier, Louis, who did not finish the program. You're a fighter for equality and you will get very far in life for sure. Then I want to say thanks to all GLEF students personally. Marie, thanks for your laugh, your great impression of others, and for speaking out loud when it really mattered. Dan, thank you for showing us how to be a professional without losing your personal touch. Angela, who's not here today, thank you for never complaining and showing us what dedication really looks like. Vanessa, thanks for showing us that one can be a great student, good wife, and an amazing mom at the same time, and for raising such an amazing son. Anna, thank you for your lovely accent and for teaching us how to deal with hangovers. You have a German liver for sure. Carlotta, who's also not here, thanks for your uniqueness and for showing us to care about the little things in life. Danielle, thanks for your everlasting happiness and for caring about every single one of us. Sid, thanks for your fashion advice and your critical remarks that could even confuse the best teachers. Hanneke, thanks for your everlasting support. Thesis and job application were less hard without you, so double thanks. Mariam, thanks for your kind words and selfless actions. You're truly one of a kind. Erwin, who's also not here, thank you for your sexual education sessions. We now know things we did not want to know. Wiki, who's also not here, thank you for your happy spirit and being open to every single one of us without any judgment. Margarita, thank you for always being so fun and for showing us what active networking in an elevator looks like. Irina, who's also not here, thank you for your Soviet mentality that always kept us in line, and thank you for seemingly endless monologues about how great the WHO is. Pete, thank you for your true leadership and your party skills. Simone, thank you for always being so inclusive and make sure we did not forget anyone from the group. Paola, thank you for teaching us that introvert persons can be the greatest of leaders. Rosie, thank you for showing us that age plays absolutely no role in studying as long as you're willing to do it. And thank you for paying GLEF forward. So maybe a little explanation. Rosie also was part of our year, and she's actually 59 years old. And she was such an amazing person in our group. So I think that's a true example of you can learn anything whenever you want. Pablo, thank you for showing us how great Colombia and Latin culture is. Kimberly, thank you, Lucy, for your hiccups and your humor. You're hilarious and always funny. Martina, thank you for your anthropologic outlook on public health and the ability to stand up for yourself and others. Justine, thank you for being the example of a girl boss in both body and mind. Hang, thank you for teaching us about Vietnamese culture and making sure we also looked at things from a non-Western perspective. Tanya, thank you for always having such an inspiring motivation and drive as you work towards food systems, but also for making sure we had our portion of nightlife during the course. Thanks to every single one of you. You literally made my year and I couldn't be grateful enough. And to close up, I hope many students will catch GLEF in the future, as it seems to be a chronic disease which cannot be cured. I will leave you guys with one question to think about. Do you know how many types of bananas are growing in Colombia? Because we do. That's it, guys.
Thank you, Danielle, Kimberly and Anne for this nice overview. We will now continue with the actual graduation and I will explain the procedure. I will mention the name of the candidate of a particular thesis group and I will ask one or two candidates take place on the chair and then Dr. Chabanovska will give a short speech. After the speech, you will get the diploma from me and we focus on the camera, that camera. After this handshake, you get a handshake of Dr. Chabanovska, you get a rose and you get an envelope and then we focus on the camera, that camera. And then there is a picture taken as well in the and I got instruction. These are nice flowers, so it should be over here, this picture. So, okay, that's fine. Okay, so be aware there are two students finished cum laude, so they performed really well, and I will mention this later on who finished with distinction. So let's start with the first candidate, and I say two candidates, so could you please, Dr. Chabanovska, put a chair, an extra chair over there? Because I will start with the thesis group of Dr. Schreuder-Beck. Yeah, and I will ask Daan Beten and Piet van Ticic to sit on the chair, please. Yeah. Okay, maybe clap. Okay, I'm still standing here because I want to address that Piet van Ticic finished his study with distinction. So I need an extra applause. Yeah? Okay, it's your turn now.
Thank you. So I will have the privilege of reading the address from Dr. Peter Schreuder-Beck. Dear Dan and dear Pete, you are 50% of my last year's thesis group. Sid and Vanessa cannot be in Maastricht today. I have to say the experience of this thesis group was wonderful and exceptional. You were very committed, hardworking, supportive of each other, and very productive. Dan, you did your internship at Rode Public Health and researched e-health policies in Europe. In the beginning, you were a bit more focused on the premium program, and I was getting slightly worried. But once you had finished that, you intensively and very successfully wrote up your master thesis research and handed in a thesis that was even better than I had hoped for. So I was impressed, and so was the second grader. Pete, you rocked Wales. Your internship was very demanding, and your thesis research on collaborative governance and the implementation of new policies in Wales was something at the intersection of our two major interests. Governance and governance and physical activity. I think Public Health Wales has never received such a helpful report from a student, combining analysis with data from different sources. Impressive work. Both of you plan to transform your thesis into papers and submit to journals. I can only encourage you doing that, and I'm more than willing to help you with this, as you know. I'm sorry I cannot be here. I'm in Spain, where I wanted to escape the autumn rain for a week given the school holidays in Germany at the moment. Yet the weather forecast is bad. I write this and I'm freezing in rain while it is so cold here in the afternoon. I wish I were in Maastricht to celebrate with you. Success with your future careers and all the best wishes, and many thanks for your cheerful and positive attitudes that make our collaboration so nice.
Okay, Dan. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And then I immediately congratulations to Pete.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And then
You have to wait for me.
Show it to my mom and dad.
yeah, okay. And then just wait a minute. Yeah.
Okay. And now from me, you get a rose. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, Pete. I'm very happy to hand this to you. Congratulations. Yeah, it's your flower.
Okay, we continue with the thesis group of Dr. Kraft, and I will start with Kimberly Angela. So I will. Yeah, okay.
And again, this is me. It seems that I will read all the addresses. Kimberly went for her placement and thesis to Public Health Department in Aruba. Her work focused on dengue community-based prevention program in Americas and Caribbean and how the experiences can be useful for Aruba. Kimberly performed very well and submitted a well-written thesis. Congratulations, Kimberly. Very good job.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you can stay over here, yeah? Yeah. So I want to ask Hanneke Teus.
Hanneke also joined the Emmerich office for her placement, working in the context of IKIC's Interreg project. Her research was on the complex structures of cross-border disaster management in our region, focusing especially on the Dutch-speaking Belgium and Dutch areas. Her training in governance and leadership helped her to identify critical points for the future cross-border collaboration in disaster preparedness and management. Of her study is an important source for the strategic tasks of Emmerich and the IKIC's project. Excellent work, Hanneke. Congratulations.
Margarita Belichowska.
Okay, Margarita was really determined to do her placement with WHO. Despite the limited places and the highly competitive selection process that WHO has put in place, she succeeded. both in getting the placement and in providing a well-written thesis on climate change-related drivers affecting the safety and security of drinking water in Europe, as an input for a policy document currently under preparation by WHO's Bonn office. Well done and congratulations, Margarita.
Van Dun.
So Anne chose, together with two of her peers, to work on cross-border issues in the context of the new Interreg project, International Knowledge and Information Center on Public Safety, led by Maastricht University. She did her placement at the Emmerich office here in Maastricht and wrote a comprehensive thesis on laws and regulation in the field of radiation incidents in Belgium, Germany, and the Netherlands, challenges and possibilities. Her study is a valuable contribution to the work of Emmerich and within the ICIX project. Anne continues to work with the provincial government, making use of the governance skills she acquired during her master's. And congratulations, this is a very good job. Here you are, and congratulations.
Mary Cecevic.
Mary is the...
Can you use the microphone, please?
Oh, okay.
Because of the onliners.
Okay. Mary is the third student from this batch that worked within the ICIX project. Her research was on the current qualifications of emergency medical staff in 112 emergency dispatch centers in the Euro region, Meuse-Rhine, and the future qualification needs in the context of developing the dispatch centers into the single entry point for both acute and emergency care. Based on a series of expert interviews and a comprehensive document analysis, Mary provided a sound study that provides a valuable input for the strategic development of dispatcher qualifications in the region. Well done, Mary. Congratulations. For the rose. Here you are. And a picture.
So we go to the next thesis group, and it was supervised by Dr. Clemens. And I want to ask Anna Wurm.
I will read again. Dear Anna, it's a pleasure to address you today, despite me not present in Maastricht. Your thesis, entitled Analyzing Health Systems Performance Assessment to Compare Accessibility in the European Union, has been prepared during your placement at the European Commission Directorate General for Health, Food and Safety. You have been placed in the key unit concerned with the performance measurement of national health systems. Because the placements host gave you quite some latitude to define the topic, it took you a while to delineate the topic, but once this had been set, you worked very independently to plan, execute, and write up the analysis. I enjoyed very much working with you, as you always seemed calm and relaxed. Although I knew that the placement at DG Santé is quite work, immense environment, and students are tasked with a lot of different assignments, so I appreciated that. So I feel you have been very busy these weeks, but this is not how it felt when we exchanged. You compared 72 different accessibility indicators used in 5 HSPA documents of 7 member states. It is clear from your analysis that the nature and framing of the used accessibility indicators varies very much. Something ESPHA experts assumed but not investigated so far. You nicely reworked your findings into tables and grouped accessibility indicators according to categories. Your thesis is a good contribution to the field and triggers new questions about comparisons and comparability. Congratulations to this achievement and your thesis. I wish you all success in the next step of your career.
Take your moment, yeah? Okay.
And the flower for the flower. Here you are. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, we go to the next thesis group, and that's your thesis group. Finally, yeah, okay, yeah. No, let's start with Martina Paric.
Okay. Thank you, Martina. Congratulations on your thesis, Educators' Perceptions on Teaching Cultural Competence to Nursing Students in Finland, a descriptive qualitative study. And Martina, I really enjoyed working with you. I appreciated your anthropological drive and your independence, and that you were able to find solutions when there were some obstacles on the road to your research in a positive way, and always coming with the work that I could only congratulate you on. And I hope that your career will flourish after this step. Thank you very much.
We go to Paola Steinhoff.
And again, thank you, Paola, for making our session so interesting. Your thesis was The Right to Education for Children with Autism, Policy Mapping of Austria, Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic. And that was a difficult thesis, difficult methodology, and you fit in very well. While working on the thesis, you were learning how to incorporate different theories, sometimes putting them in the text. I noticed that it was a process. It is a very good thesis and now ready for publication. And also with the help of some other experts from these countries who were checking whether the information provided really reflects the policies that are in place. And you were always calm, inquisitive, and a good leader that you also mentioned with introvert character. I can only share in that. Congratulations.
We go to Mariam Sokrola.
Hello, Maria. You were a treasure. She wrote how to harness the potential of digital technologies without increasing health inequalities. Policy recommendations using qualitative approach. It has been a pleasure working with you. You were always there for us. You were interactive. You took the floor. You participated. You gave advice, and you were not afraid to give constructive feedback when needed. You worked in a very professional way, and you were inquisitive, trying to get to the
Okay, we go to the final candidate, of course, Daniela Bund. And I stay here a little bit longer because you finished your study with distinction. So an extra applause, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. You wrote a thesis about autism and the right to education in the EU, policy mapping and scoping review of the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. It was really a pleasure getting to know you and working with you. You were very inquisitive, trying to get into the depth of the problem. Although at the beginning you were not sure which way to go, you made it a very good thesis, and now it is a publication ready to be published in the journal. But on a different note, I also would like to thank you that I have observed that you were always there for your colleagues. And I think it has been noticed already in the speech, that you were leading from behind, always present where needed. Although you were not often that much in the front, your presence was very strong. Thank you. Helping Pablo in the hospital. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we ready?
We are ready.
We have come to an end of this session, which in 12 candidates received their master diploma, and I have still 2 announcements. First announcement, final assignment actually. You have this folder, and please check the name, not now, but names, grades, and so on. Yeah? And if there is a mistake, please send the Board of Examiners an email immediately. Yeah? The second important point is that in about 3 weeks there will be a link to pictures sent to your email account, so you can pick all kind of pictures from this link. Yeah, it was a pleasure for me to congratulate you, and from this place I would like to congratulate parents, family and friends. And I can imagine you want to congratulate your son, daughter or friend as well. And therefore I would like you to invite you to Grand Café Maastricht, Swaron, around the corner here, not for the onliners, but yeah, that's live. In this folder you will find an orange envelope with vouchers, so then you can have a drink. Okay, so yeah, of course you have opportunity to stay in the church to make some pictures as well. And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the meeting, and I thank you all very much for your presence, also online, and I wish you a pleasant meeting, and hereby I will close the session. Okay.